What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this client interview. I have my man Noah and I have his mother as well on the Zoom with me. We're just going to go over the progress that Noah has made inside the Close the Gap protocol and hear a little bit about their perspectives as well. So, Noah, man, why don't you go ahead and give a brief introduction here, to the people watching, and Mom, feel free to introduce yourself as well.
My name's Noah. I'm going into my junior year of high school. I started Kelly training just under 2 months ago. And so far, I've already seen like a lot of improvements so far, just like in baseball in general, and my like size, metrics, and everything.
I'm Kelly. I'm Noah's mom, and this is all about him.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet guys. Well, again, I appreciate you guys for hopping on here. And Noah, man, why don't we just start from the very beginning and we'll go back in this timeline a little bit. And why don't you just tell everyone kind of where you were at with your hitting before you started, your EV, even the weight too, man. Just kind of your progress in general. Where were you at before initially beginning the program?
So before I started, I was stuck at 89 EV, and my weight was just hovering between 145 and 150, like on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my first 90 EV within the first 2 weeks, and then just kept building from there to like about my max 96 now. And then now I'm consistently hitting 155, 156 daily
Yeah, dude.
per weight.
Spectacular. Honestly, the weight side of things for you has been such a big unlock, bro. Like
Mhm.
massive unlock. And I think that plays a big role in the EV gains as well. So if we look at the numbers, you've been in the program for just under 2 months. You started it in the middle of June. You're up 7 EV, like you said there, man. And you told me on a text that that's the most you've ever gained. So what have you tried, or what did you do before the program to actually try to move this EV needle, maybe even weight gain? What did that process look like for you, man? And why do you feel like that wasn't working as well as maybe a structured program had worked for you?
So in the weight room, I was more focusing on just like more bodybuilding type movements rather
Right.
than like trying to be like explosive, move weight fast and all that. So I think that was like really affecting like how much power output I could really generate like in the box, like hitting.
Absolutely, dude. So many athletes get stuck in that bodybuilder trap because it's like the most accessible, the most easy kind of method to do in the weight room. Didn't take, a ton of knowledge. It doesn't take a ton of research. You go in there, hit some curls, man.
Yeah.
And people think that's going to move the needle, but it's actually very far from the truth. So I'm glad we got you away from that, man. Glad we got you away from that for sure. I used to do the same thing, so you're not alone. I used to do that as well, but yeah, man, there's a lot more to be had for sure.
Mm.
And for mom, I'm gonna kind of fire you a question here. A
Okay.
lot of a lot of parents, when it comes to programming, especially in the online space, like obviously, like the elephant in the room here is going to be like the cost, right? The commitment, the investment, things like that. When you guys were deciding to ultimately like join this program, how did you guys weigh that investment against maybe the things you guys have already tried for Noah's development? Like this could even be beyond cost or, time, effort, energy.
Hmm. I really kind of leaned on him for that because
Mm,
he's the one that came to me and said, "This is what I need to do. I need to do something different. I've tried XYZ. We've done individual training. We've done the weight room. We've done the gym. We've done the agility. We've done all these things. This looks different, mom. I want to try it."
mm,
So I told him I wasn't necessarily investing in you because I didn't know you, but
right,
I was investing in him. So if he can
right.
show me that he's vested, then I'm good. And I feel like you've done that.
Awesome. I actually love that. I love that because ultimately, right, if Noah's not invested, if he's not bought in, then his input is not going to equal the output
Right.
that he ultimately wants to get out of this thing, right? So I think that's a great answer, and I think players need to understand that their commitment comes first. And you know when I get on these interviews and stuff, like that's a very common uh, you know common answer, a common thing for parents to say is like, "Hey, my son was completely bought in. It made it easy for me." Right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I completely agree with that. And when we look at the things maybe that we've done in the past, like you just kind of mentioned, you guys have tried a lot, right? what really, in your perspective, Mom, kind of made this different, and not only made it different, but kind of filled in the gaps for Noah that he needed and didn't get in those other modalities?
I would say the daily check-ins have been huge. He really works well off of a structured plan. So it's not
Yeah.
like, hey, here's your workout plan, go hit the gym.
Right,
It's like, this is what I'm going to do in the morning. This is what I'm going to do in the afternoon. This is what I'm going to do in the evening. This is
right.
how many calories I'm going to eat. I'm going to sit on this meeting. I'm going to check in with this coach. And for him, I feel like that's been huge, just having a whole package deal as opposed to, hey, I'm going to go meet with my trainer for an hour.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, that's like and keep in mind, like, I used to do in-person lessons. Like that was kind of my main method of training athletes before kind of going into the online space. And, you know, the online space, it doesn't give me like a distaste about in-person lessons, but it does give me a new perspective on the holes inside of that actual structure, right? Like meeting with a player once a week, let's say a hitting coach, for example, I'm coaching Noah on his swing. Like it can be good for that, right? It could be good
Mhm.
for that. But what he really needs to grow as a man, grow as a future college baseball player, it takes a little bit more. And, I think we can definitely agree to that point of, you know, we need to supplement these players with a little bit more than just a quick fix here and there once a week maybe, to try to move them into their development. So
Right. It'd be like doing school one day a week and expecting them to get all the rest of their work done on their own the other 5 days or 6 days.
exactly, exactly. And it also on top of that, it's like having a teacher only teach you one day a week, and then they ask you to go take a test in 6 months, which is like your season. I like to call like the test the season, right? It's
Right.
like you meet with your teacher like 6 times if it's like whatever. Once if it's 6 months out, you meet with them like I don't know 12 times, I guess. Like 2 times a month, maybe 3 times, and you expect to completely ace the test, but you're just not preparing accurately for that test, and you're not relying on resources that you could rely on, and now you're letting time dictate your development, which is really the mistake that a lot of youth players fall into. 1,000%. And Noah, man, like you understand that this is not like a quick fix thing, right? Like this is not a one day you're in and you're gonna get everything you dreamed of, right? What does a day to day look like for you, man? And what did you have to be all in for in order for this thing to work? Like, would you really sell yourself on to commit to this process to make sure that you actually get these results that you have, told everyone that you've made?
hmm So I'd say one of like the biggest things, I don't know if this sounds like corny or anything, but just getting up in the morning and
For
just
sure.
doing your stretches like first thing. I
For
think that
sure.
is like huge. Like that starts your day off on the right foot, makes you like more energized to get all your work like further in the day and all that. So I think it really sets the day off on a good like start and everything. And I think that's been like one of the most important things like during this training.
For sure, dude. Not corny at all. Actually very mature, like very opposite of corny. It's like, dude, if you looked at like MLB players day to day, I'm sure they're going to get up early. They're going to do the things they got to do to prepare themselves to actually attack the day. I'm actually glad you brought that up because I don't see a lot of like brief morning routines in a lot of people's programming. Not to say that I've invented that or anything, but I do feel like a lot of the players inside have really enjoyed that morning routine to make sure they don't get out of bed stiff as a board, not, motivated for the rest of the day. So I'm glad you've enjoyed that, man. And to be very, very transparent and frank with the audience watching, I don't think Noah has missed a single one. I really as far as looking at your schedule, dude, I don't think you've missed a single one of those things. So I want to commend you for that, dude. That's
I
that's
don't think
awesome.
he
Thank
has
you.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I Noah's one of those guys I look at his schedule and I'm like, just locked in. Like don't really don't have to change much. Like he's pretty much got it figured out, man. So I think that's awesome. Especially considering, obviously you join in June, so like you're in the middle of travel ball circuit, right? And I hear this all the time, like you know, travel balls got all my time, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time on development, and I play all these games, and I practice, and I'm just not gonna have time to train, right? So for you, Noah, like when you had travel ball going on, you're just going into school too. How did that training actually fit into your busy schedule? And has that scheduling aspect of the programming, like your daily views and your weekly view and all that stuff, has that actually benefited your schedule during that busy point in the year for you?
Yeah, I'd say like just you have to definitely work around the games. Like get your like workouts, your stretching, your med ball work in like whenever you can, especially when you have like tournaments and stuff on the weekends. So I think like yeah, it's very important that you like can manage your time so that you can still get your work in and play all these games like in travel ball and everything.
I mean, you were able to like manipulate the schedule
Yeah.
to match whatever we needed on a particular week or weekend.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was important. But like to that point, the morning stretches still need to happen. It loosens you up for a game, even if you have what time do we be there? A
Like,
6
yeah,
a.m. game
exactly.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like you did. The earliest game we had this season was probably his best game. And he was the only one ready on the field. I felt
There you
like
go.
as a mom.
Yep. Yep. That's the little thing, right? That's literally, it's so small. It's so fractional, but dude, you're just going to show up better than everyone else. And it's going to show in your performance, which, that stuff snowballs and compounds. And, even in the time when recruiting really picks up for you, Noah, like just having that little edge is going to be huge, dude. And um, for the record, like the fact that you guys can like, modify your schedules, you can move things around, and you hold yourself accountable to your schedule is all done on purpose because you're going to go to college, right? Like you're going to play college baseball, and your time is very, very valuable when you get to college, right? And you're going to have 30 different things thrown in your face, and you got to have that skill. You've got to have that skill of time management, like 100%. As someone who's been through it, as somebody who's kind of let college drain them a little bit, I would say, both academically and through sports, you got to have that skill, man. So it's awesome that you're preparing that now as such a young athlete, because that is a skill and it's trainable, and you're going to need to use it in the future, man. So
And I would say it's not just time management, but it's deciding what the most important aspects are too. Like, like, okay, I want to still swim today. I want to still hang out with my friends, but I need to do X, Y, Z first.
right, right. Yeah, the prioritizing
Yep.
is huge. And I think it really comes down to this, and I could yap on this all day, but I'm not going to, but I will spit a little bit on it, is, in the program, we talk a lot about like our future self, 10.0 version of Noah, right? 10.0 version of me, like even I go into it a little bit. And it's like, what would 10.0 Noah do? What would he do? Is he the player who's going to prioritize what needs to be prioritized in order for him to get to that version of himself? Or does he let it slip? Right. And it's not to say that 10.0 Noah doesn't have time for his friends, because he surely does. Because I'm sure 10.0 Noah isn't just a robot, like whatever. But it's all about priority, right? It's all about priority. And then on top of that, managing your time. So awesome. It goes without saying, man, that your EV, it didn't jump overnight, right? It wasn't like day one, you're in the program, boom, +7. Walk me through a little bit of like the first few weeks in particular, and tell me what that felt like versus before the program. And then I also want you to tell me how that feels like compared to right now in the program.
hmm So the first few weeks, frankly, put a lot of body soreness,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Like from the physical side, just like
yeah,
the workouts and everything we did,
yeah.
like you could physically feel like you're building muscle, you're building like speed and everything. Like so, I think like that was a huge difference. Like I had never felt like that much like soreness and everything just physically in my body, like from just bodybuilding. So I
Mhm.
think that was like a physical indicator that okay, I think this is gonna get me somewhere. And then now it's like it's still that much like intensity, I'd say, but like always doing these new workouts like each like progression over time, I think that like keeps everything fresh and
Mhm.
like keeps your body like surprised like to these new movements and things.
Yeah. You're not stagnant.
I gotta ask you, and I probably know your answer here, but before joining, did you ever, I know you said you did bodybuilding, but even beyond that, did you ever have something that progressed differently throughout a period of time to get you to a certain goal?
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
Exactly. Like, I actually just made a YouTube video on this like the other day, and I'm a strength conditioning guy. This is what I've went to school for. It's what I did at the college level. Like I love strength conditioning, big passion of mine. And it's like staggering to me how many athletes train without progression. Progression is just as important as the concepts. Okay? So triphasic training is something you've been on and you went through the eccentric training and that's why you were very sore. Now that's a concept, right? Triphasic training. But the progression of what is Noah doing right now versus what he did when he started, and how is that improving him to a more efficient degree than 2 months ago? That that is why we're able to see the results, and that's really what so many players are missing, man. And it's staggering how many of them even are on programs who don't progress over time. So great point, dude. And it's gonna keep changing, which I think is the cool
Yeah.
part, where it's like right now, like, dude, you've made really good progress. Obviously, you've made great progress, and we feel like a little bit of like a pat on the back here, and as you should. But in 2 months, it's going to be the same thing where we're looking back at this and we're like, man, now I'm progressing. Like it's just going to keep going. Like we're going to keep knocking over those dominoes, man. So
Mhm.
super cool, super cool. And we've done all this remotely. Like I've never seen Noah in person. I'm sure we'll set something up at some point, but I've never seen Noah in person. Right? This is all remote. Mom, did you have personally any doubts when it came to online coaching, especially when Noah came to you with this random guy on Instagram? And ultimately, if you did have doubts, what kind of changed your mind about it, even on like that first call that we had?
So my initial was like, oh, okay, just another, he sent me another Instagram, you know? But then I'm in bed at night scrolling as I shouldn't be. And I'm like, all right, let me check it out. Okay, well, there's a lot of people on here talking about this. There's a lot of parents involved. A lot of kids are seeing progress. So then I'm like, okay, we'll sit down, we'll have this meeting, whatever. But like I said before, for me, I'm like trusting him,
Mhm.
right? I mean, not that I don't trust you, but I don't know
Of
you.
course,
So
of course.
I'm putting all my trust in him and saying, okay, even if this totally flops, at least use some of the tools that these people give you. And I'm trusting you to do that. So I feel like, you know, I kind of leaned on him a lot on
Yeah,
that,
of course.
but now I'm seeing progress. So, okay, pat on the back to you for finding something good. Pat on the back for me for trusting my kid.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Well, so it sounds like Noah was a main catalyst here,
Yes.
right? Makes sense, totally. And Noah, in your perspective, I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of online coaches. Like, there's a lot of people online that promise results, they show results, things like that. Noah, what made you ultimately trust that this was the one that was going to actually deliver those results that you were looking for at the end of the day?
So I think it was just like because I found your account, I'd say it was months like before I even started
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
training. And
right.
like I was just like watching some of the videos you had made like on Instagram. And I was like, this seems like a lot different than anything else I've like come across like in person or even like online. So I think that was like part of the reason like it felt so intriguing, like to me personally.
When you've done the same type of training for two,
Yeah.
3 years in the gym, and it's like frustration sets in, right? It's like, okay, I'm getting a little bigger, I'm getting a little stronger, but why do I feel like I'm stagnant?
Yeah.
So I felt like you just wanted something different.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that is. And so I can't give that to him. So he had to find it somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. What made you think like, okay, this is different? Was it like the novelty of like online training? Was it maybe like the mental side too, or like daily programming? What was like that main thing for you, Noah, that was like, oh, this is not only different, but that difference is what I need and super beneficial to my situation.
I'd say a big part of the difference is like the focus on the mental side of the game as well. Like for sure, I haven't seen like anything online that has both the physical training
Yeah.
and the mental side as well.
We've done them separate before,
Yeah.
but nothing together.
So like having that all like grouped into one program, I think is huge.
100%.
Yeah, because it's like working with each other instead of like against each other.
It's a great point. That's actually a phenomenal point. I've said this to some families too. And this is all coming from my playing experience. I used to feel like I had like 30 different like angles, 30 different like stimulus. Like I didn't know which direction to go when I had all this guidance around me. And sometimes they would clash, right? And they wouldn't butt heads, but I would just be getting conflicting advice. I'd be getting a bunch of different opinions. And yeah, when you have two guys that can actually communicate about your journey specifically, like me and Coach Ross can talk about where you're at, Noah, and we can communicate, the best method and approach for you. And on top of that, like we can just get on a call with all three of us where, man, think about trying to coordinate like a hitting coach, a freaking speed coach, a mental coach, all this stuff to like even hop on a call, like it's not even realistic. So yeah, 1,000%. I feel like streamlining the process is super beneficial for all the athletes. I wish I could get Coach Ross on this call. I tried to, but he's moving to Tennessee today, so
Oh,
probably
geez.
wasn't. He's a little busy today, but I'll definitely tell him, and I'm sure he'll see this, that you guys, all appreciate his mental coaching because he's made a massive impact on you guys, and I think his value is definitely massive inside the program. So sweet, y'all. Noah, man, just kind of the last question here, dude. If there was another kid out there who was thinking about joining, maybe he's on the fence, scrolling my page, I don't know. He wants to join, but something's just holding him back. What would you tell that player, dude?
I'd tell him to like trust like that this process works. And I think like evidence to that would be like all these other players who have seen these gains and everything already. Like that this process, if you like put the time and the effort into it, it 100% works. And yeah.
Absolutely, dude. I appreciate that big time, man. And mom, I want to ask the same thing to you. If there was, another parent on the fence about this for their kid, what would you ultimately tell them as well?
I would say trust the process, trust your kid. Check in for the first week to make sure they're actually doing what they're doing. Because if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they will see progress. If you don't see progress, it's probably because they're missing something somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're like I keep saying, like you're investing into your child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. At the end of the day, Noah's input's going to equal his output.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's always going to be an investment into your son, into your player, rather than ultimately solely into Kelly training. Of course, you guys put a lot of faith and trust into us and what we're doing, but like we said and stated there, it's definitely an investment into your son and the player himself. So sweet, guys. That's about it. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Noah, man, I know you got practice today, so I want to give you some time to prepare for that and go absolutely crush it, dude, for the first practice of the fall. But ultimately, guys, I just appreciate your time here hopping on, and we're gonna keep killing it, dude. +7 EV. The good thing about it, +7 EV is now your floor, right? So we'll just keep on going up. We're gonna hit double digits soon, man, as long as we keep hammering the process. So super proud of you, dude. And yeah, we'll keep working.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.